All right, so there's a little bit of cloud cover here in Florida, and I need to get this bike out of the box. So I like to play around with this live scenario. One, it keeps me from having to cut video, and it allows me to connect. I do have the computer up and ready, and I'll try and answer questions better this time as we go through it. Um, it's awkward like this because of the view frame of the phone. I use my phone for the live video, so I'm disconnected. You can't use the watch because it's YouTube, and so the view frame is a little smaller than normal. Either way, I'm going to try and carry it through, just get better and better at this as we go along. Uh, First thing to note is that I like to use this as a container for the trash, and so I'm going to try and lift it out of there. It's always awkward, so it'll look funny. And then I'll try and move the tripod around with me so you guys can see it. At any time, I may stop this video, whatever the stopping point is for the bike. And generally, I use my feel for hand tight in terms of torque specifications, etc. I don't go through that level of it. I do recommend blue thread sealant, get some grease for your seat post, etc. We have all that stuff, but right now I just need to get the bike out and get it together. I will go through it separately and fine tune, make sure everything's aligned before we do the review. This is the King Bull Discover 2. I would say that it is meant and marketed to compete with the Electric XP2. That's exactly where I would put it. And right when I saw that there's a torque sensor on it, I was like, heck yes. So give me a moment. I'm going to get my tools and cut this open. I'll try and get this thing set up, and then you guys just hang with me. If you have any questions, I will be checking the computer. Just give me the ability to do that off screen. Perfect. All right, you guys can see enough. This is good to go, I think. The bike is 77 pounds, and I'm going to guess that it's the petrol-based packing, which we don't mind because it keeps the bike in pretty decent condition, and we definitely want that. I do like some companies' attempts to make it eco-friendly and make it paper, but even then it's subject to certain things that just require something stronger. Yes. If I remember correctly, the seat is in this. Yes, it's up front, tucked under the fork. So this definitely has to come out. If it gets too awkward, I'll just cut down the box. If you do this, don't grab the rack. It's not connected completely. Make sure and grab the frame of the bike. Get all the goodies out. Front brake. For sure, front brake. This was not in. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now, my immediate attempt will just be to get at the seat. And that way I can get it on the rack so you guys can see what the heck is going on. Perfect. And it's tucked up under the front fork. And these are side view mirrors. I remember from the Light Rider. And then it's bound together with their little cargo straps that they include as well. I have not used them. I think they would get some quality use for a time for sure, but they are just a nice added feature to what they're packaging in the box. Perfect. Since I have space on this side, I'll probably just turn this around and get it on the rack. Wow, that is a trick to do. You can't do the knee thing, which is a pain. Okay. So ideally, once I get this all cleaned up, I'm going to turn the bike around because you always want your drive on the outside so you can work on it. The drive side is on the inside right now, but it's easy because you can see the strap and how the tires and everything's hooked up straight out of the box. So the fender is down here. So that seems to take a little bit of a beating because it was rolled over on the bottom. It might be better if it was here. A little scuff, but I think like some really fine grit sandpaper, or honestly just like a plastic polish, and leave it alone. It's not terrible. Everything else seems to be okay. This is a little marred from being on the bottom, but that's about it. These are the very first time I saw these tires was on an aerial rider Kepler. I love them. All right, so just be careful. That was on the inside of the crank. tail light? Tail light. Well, that is interesting. Okay. I guess I'd rather it not be broken. That would be my thought. The rack. The fender's strapped separately. Obviously, just making comment about this. It is plugged in, but the tail light is just strung in here, so we're going to have to affix it to the rack once that's done. So when I look at the packaging, the blocks that I pulled out before I pulled it out of the bike were probably a consumption of room, so they needed to compress the rack, get it as tight over the wheel and the fender as possible, and then as a result, it really got in the way of the rear light. One, because that mounts to the rear rack, and so they just decided to package on the side. I would think that, you know, I would disconnect right here and put this light in one of the boxes so that it can get that further protection. I'm to a place now where I don't have to worry about these zip ties. I've got so many of them. So the bike has a 15 amp hour battery, which is equivalent to the capacity of the normal XP 2.0. And then it has a 3 amp charger. So standard for a long time, most bikes 2 amp. They've bumped to 3 amp to shorten it. So it's like instead of 7 to 8 hours, etc., it becomes a 4 to 5 hour endeavor for full charge. And then it helps when you're just topping off a battery. It helps a lot, actually. So do like the addition of a 3 amp charger. E-biker Ronnie, thanks for your support, my man. We appreciate you. It's very fortunate that I get to do this the way I get to do it. The business supports the channel separately, so anytime I get something, I get the opportunity to feel the way I want to feel about it without the consequences of anything that I might say. I am self-supporting, not self-supporting, it takes the community, everyone that has believed in what we've done thus far and supported us even when we make goofy videos like this live video. I've done it, the very first time I did this was on the XP, I think it was a 1.0, it was a white one. I've had so many bikes, and I couldn't finish it, and then I set aside the idea of doing live openings, but I realized that it has value and that you guys can see what I see. Ooh, this is interesting. So they've put a big old zip tie. Oh, hang on. Let's see. There's a zip tie right here on the crank, but it pushes it down. So I think like the orientation of this versus what it is right now, like this was helping to hold the wheel, the front wheel. Anyway, I just bound it together. this thing. So that's important. It feels a little loose. I don't know. We'll set it up and see what's up. It's probably just tight. Side. All right, so the brake is bound to the cable bundle, so you'll want to bring it out on the left-hand side of the headset. I'm just trying not to bounce all this around. Oh, Sonny, it's always raining in Florida, my man. Live and die by it. Just accept it. That's my deal. It is part of it. That's part of why I'm here, I guess. It also keeps me from having to water all the plants, so I don't mind it terribly. It helps to cool it off. From what I've seen, like the percentage goes up mid-afternoon, but it's really, really high in the evening, and that follows a typical pattern. Weekends always get disrupted because you don't have the CO2 emissions, I guess. So there's a lot of heat within the country during the week because of all the cars that are running. And then your weekend pattern changes. So I guess, I don't know, I'm used to it now. Right now, you guys, I'm setting up compressor and then the other toolkit just in case I need it. Is it? Well, keep that stuff up there, please. Right now, like I'm at risk of the sun coming out in between the clouds, so let's see how it goes. It'll be a short cutoff if it does start raining, but I do have this. Matter of fact, I might put that up. With you guys' forgiveness, please give me a moment to put up an umbrella. Sonny, I'm trusting you. Don't stay right there. Voila. Okay. How's the lighting? Decent. That's not bad. Not terrible. Go iPhone. Okay, back to business. There we go. These do have little washers on the end of the screws, so don't lose them. I work in Shell, so I'm like triple punished. If I drop a screw, it is devastating. So, there you go. So I never put these, like, I don't seat them all the way. I try and just leave them loose. Mostly that top row is to hold it in. And I like to see how the handlebar rolls. And then I look here to see about the angle. And typically I have to roll back the display because they lay it in there at an angle for it to be packed. And it works best when it's in line or 90 on the brake handles or the rest of the dash. I just try and do an equal measure of pressure, which is not an official measurement, uh, on each one of them as they tighten to the plate, so I'm not overdoing one versus the other. Try and do the same amount of turn as well. So one of these things that I look at now, because I'm so privileged that I get to look at a lot of e-bikes, I like when the screw that mounts the fender and the light to the fork is actually part of the fork. Now this is twofold, right? If you strip out the inside of the fork for this screw that's holding all this in, you're screwed because that's your fork. So you got to get it rethreaded, drilled out, all the good stuff. And in this case, you know, it's just a nut and washer. So my princess status wants it just one screw bolted in, but practicality says use the locking nut and washer. Now this, yes, it is a locking nut. This thing is bent. So there's this. So that means this is front side, and then fender comes on the front side of that because of the lip of the light mount, or tucked in behind it, but I'm pretty sure it's front end orientation. And I will pay for my assurance if I'm wrong by having to remove the front wheel. There's also review the owner's manual, but who does that? Damon, is it humid? Because it's certainly humid here. I chose the wrong shirt for this. Oh, Gordon, stop listening to Electrified Latina, my man. Like you can see in the groups, they're getting them. It's not like we didn't just experience a global political logistics nightmare through tariffs and all of the other stuff that's happening with our administration. So don't put that on the e-bike owners. They're doing what they got to do, and Wired's going to come through. I've seen it. I know it. Steve Goldman is not the type to be that guy. He never wants to be compared to Dave Cleveland. Let's put it that way. Never ever. All of our favorite e-bike brands in all the land were all these infant companies doing all this stuff, electric, like they were in a garage. So you guys stop freaking out about pre-orders. Dave Cleveland is not the measure of a man or a business when it comes to that. And Electrified Latina is not the one that should be doling out that kind of scare tactic nonsense, especially with the hypocrisy of her playlists. Now that was a lot, not really meant for this. We are on the King Bull Discover 2. Now I'm just going to leave this a little loose until I get everything buckled up. So right now I got to take these screws out. Like the others, these have a washer on them, so don't lose the washer. If you work in shell, make sure you have a good grip on what's going on. These babies. So a lot of times if this gets tight, typically it means that this arm has bent, so it's not a perfect 90, or the angle isn't perfect out to the fender at the mount for the support. So don't worry too much. Just make sure that you're not cross-threading your fork. It's hot. Gordon, I feel you about the safety, bro. Like I don't condone I don't I don't condone what happened with Dave Cleveland. And yes, he was taking pre-orders, but right, like a lot of big companies are doing it. Onyx is doing it. Like it just, it's the measure of the man, the business, the integrity behind it, and are they being forthright? And I'm pretty sure this is coming from Electrified Latina. So I will remind you that she was all about Dave Cleveland, knowing full well the way Dave Cleveland spoke to people. Right, that man is a certain kind of breed, and everyone knew that it was problematic. However, the bike was amazing. That 5-star was where it was at, is where it was at. Steve Goldman, to my knowledge, he has put out so many iterations because he keeps wanting to seek the perfection at the price point within the system. And so, like I have a real problem with how the e-bike place is handling this thing, or allowing her to bring some kind of nonsense to the table like this and just really besmirch all of these companies to get followers rather than knowing what the hell she's talking about. Right, she's pulled escape into it, she pulled magician into it, she's got wired into it now, and I don't think she understands who she's messing with, honestly. That's another thing. I think she's got some growing to do. Anyway, time to get into the boxes. John, I got my Predator coming to you. I ordered the green one without thinking, and then I saw the that wicked red. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like I want that bike so bad. So I have a Warrior coming. I have the Predator, but it's the that cruiser green, that lime green. Um, I like it. I thought it would be it was very telling of the bike, but after seeing that wicked red, I'm just like, oh, good lord, I want some of that. I want it in all versions, including the 60s. I don't know if you guys saw us saw me with Scott Hardesty, but that's good times. And I was on a cruiser, and for everything under what we know to be the speed limits, the cruiser gets it done too. Okay, I really, really like that they send this. This is the best style of like tool wrap you could get. This is great. And then for those of you that don't have your own tools, I like this. This is a good ad. The best ad in terms of accessories that's coming with the bike. And these type of things, especially when new, they're nice. I would think that they probably want to tone this thing down, right? Because this is a lot. That's a lot of length to be putting on the top side of your handlebars. And it's a lot of space for your mount space too. So I just can't justify these things, but it's very courteous and nice. If you need them, want them, you've got them. Let's see. What is this air pump? All right. I'm gonna have to like bite the bullet. I'll probably maybe do a short. I don't know. I just need to test it out myself. But when you see it's got the needle on the bottom and then like the air mattress fitting, you're just like, okay, all right. I thank you for the gesture. However, the proof is in the pudding. Let me come over here and see what all the scuttlebutt is. M. Mulk I have no idea what that username is, but yes, you're right. She is. She's doing it for, no, she's doing it for viewership, right? The hysteria is what sells in this country. That's the problem. 60 volts is going to do, Gordon, for sure. John, I've seen the other oranges, and it's a really nice orange. If that's your bag, especially like if you're a college team fan, like I can understand that. No, and Gordon, that hill was legit. I was scared to death when we looked down it, and then walking up on the hill like that. Was it Canton Wood Avenue? I think you're just like this as you're walking, trying to just keep centered. It was crazy. Okay, here's my axle. So you have the drive side and then threaded end, and then this two. These are your spacers for the inside. I don't know. Maybe no. There it is. There's a grip there. I may need to pull the manual on this one. I don't want to F this up. I'm sure it'll be quite visible and easy to understand um, if I just sized it, but I've tried to make a habit of loading all items and then I sequence them in a OneNote notebook. And so wherever I can, I hold all of this stuff, which is my gold mine. So front wheel installation, remove the yellow spacer from the brake caliper. It's already fallen out, I guess, again. Or did I grab it? I grabbed it. Slide front wheel axle into place. And then it's got like a few pictures. Align the rotor correctly with the oh, this is very sparing on this one. So nothing really detailed about the orientation. I have faith, though. So, one, I need to get ready for separation. And then it's a dropout, which is interesting. So we're going to do it this way. So now we're in. I need to get with Brad for, is there an industry standard for drive side of the through axle bolt if it's a dropout? And there is like, it's seeming that there is a, yeah. So there is a right way to fit for the internal spacers. So you guys keep that in mind. And as soon as this thing gets tight enough, it's inset into the dropout, so it won't fall. Yeehaw. And then what I know I can do is, because I would need to reset a crescent or do something ridiculous, I don't need to. Let me see. There we go. fender. Don't drop the screws. Oh my God, don't drop the screws. So this is a pain in the butt in this way. Normally if I'm not out here, I bring the tool set out here because I try to use the minimal tools, etc. But I put a driver on this thing and whip it up if I was at the shop. If we're just doing service and I'm not on camera, like, I don't expect that anyone buying these bikes has all the tools to do everything, so it's not fair to like come out here and pretend like it's a shop service job. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down so you guys can have a peek, and I'm gonna go look at the comments. So what I was talking about in the spacers is what's inside in between the hub and the dropout. It did like need to be turned specifically to fit onto the hub. Oh yeah, Scott don't play around. Like my biggest admiration for Scott is his like diligence to each of the bikes and the specs, and he gets into it. And then watching him do his review videos, like the setup, is pretty unreal too. It was big for me. It was eye opening for me. As you guys know, typically I'm doing sequenced instructionals. Lately, been doing reviews, but I do have another life, and it doesn't consist of all e-bikes, so I don't have the time that Scott has. So the one-to-one instructional, like clip to clip to clip, is easy for me to get out in a timely manner at volume. Oh yeah, 72 volts, Gordon. Or yeah, those bikes are legit. But the 60 volt is no joke, right? Anything over 52. I love my Kepler. My 52 volt aerial rider Kepler, 1,000 watt nominal rear hub. It is awesome. It can't be beat. It can be beat, but like I think they're working on something else, and still like I hold on to that bike. I'm not trying to get rid of it. Straggler packaging. All right, sorry about the bounce. It is hot. What I need to do now is I need to turn this bike around. Else I'm never gonna hear the end of it from Wes. All right, that gets me my drive side on the outside. Hangs my front end out in the rain. But whatever. Okay, rear rack time. Rear rack time is also fender time. It doesn't look like there's a mount for the rack on the fender, which is good. That's very awkward when you got to do that. A lot of times you end up having to pull the rear hub to make it easier on yourself. So bonus there, unless it's unstable. The mounts on these, since we have a lot of wired fans in here, are the mounts that you saw on the rear racks before they did the crossbar augmentation for the rack. So these are the ones that they snap right at the welds right here. But these aren't going to be holding that kind of weight. However, it does say 150-pound capacity for the rear rack. So this is the weak spot. I wonder if that is set for the structural stability of the rack itself right before the connection to the bike, and then this becomes the standard after. Now I'm pulling the screws for the mount of the fender. Also remember, we do condone and do use, just don't use it readily because it makes a mess. It gets all over my fingers and then it gets on the equipment. Blue thread locker. And then I have my part tools. So this. And then I keep this. It's good all-purpose all around. That is for the rack. Duh. That's what I was. Wake up. That was in there tight. So it doesn't look like I'm gonna have to jam up on this, so that's good. It looks like it seats pretty well. Some bikes, like you really got to contort the rack to get it on. Just a little bent up front, and I was able to jam it on barehanded, so. There you go. What are y'all talking about over here? Everybody leave. Oh, yeah. So, let me show you this. Just things that I can see straight away. It's likely that the Discover 1 had a different style of connector types, and the Discover 2 has made a nice push into another category for their wiring. Now, these JSTs, not a big fan of this stuff, okay? But the waterproof mains, heck yeah. And if what I saw on the Light Rider in terms of the connections, the controller on the Light Rider 2 is more like the controller for the Electric XP 1.0 and 2.0, where it's not this waterproof connector type. It's every one of those JST, anywhere from 1 to I believe 5 pins. So this is King Bull's replacement controller for speed. They sent that out to me, but first we're just going to review the bike as is, and then we're going to have some fun with this. You guys know how I like this kind of stuff. So they sent it straight away. Actually, it wasn't. They sent it after the fact. I think perhaps they reviewed the channel and saw. And I'm always willing to jump into a bike like that, and especially if the manufacturer understands that that's what we do here. So if you're looking like 300 bucks off from what you get with electric, and if I'm looking at it straight away, I feel like the seat might be a little bit better, but I don't know. And then I put a suspension seat post on it, and that's going to take care of a full suspension setup. And then from there, it's got a torque sensor. I think you guys already know how I feel about torque sensors, but I would like the ability to change to cadence. Right? I don't think that's unheard of now, but this thing is at $12.99 on 15 amp hours, 26x4. It's got the CST BFTs and the nice tires. It looks good. The frame is set up kind of the first time I saw like the modular thing, because these cutouts for design, they're a great housing point for controllers, etc. But if you look at them, they're set up for mid drives. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what's up. So it's a very common frame style, and then the manufacturer or the brand will make changes to the bike as they want it. Right now, I'm putting on this rear light. It was loose and attached on the side. I think it would be better if it was in a box and let me plug it in and then zip tie it back to life. But it was okay nonetheless. So there's a line, so mounting spot up top. They sent the super long ones. It's nice. It's hot. I remember getting crucified in the earlier days for my excessive use of zip ties, which I accept full responsibility for. It helped us get here. But I was a little frivolous, especially with mounting things. And yes, I do have a zip tie cutter. I just don't use it. I always have my dikes with me. I always have my cutters with me. They just seem to serve a better purpose. I do try and bring flat end around so it is a decent cut. I just want to say that they are better than the factory cuts right here on these zip ties. Let me put that out there. This thing. Perfect. What are you guys talking about now? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want to pull too tight because the bracket may break. It is plastic. All I'm doing right now is putting the fender mounts on in place. They're the lower ones, the smaller, less sturdy version. I'm tightening up my rear rack. Some of this tension might be from the rack itself, so keep that in mind. Just make sure you don't cross thread when you intro these screws, and then it may be tight all the way because you're compressing the bars. So just keep that in mind. I think we are good there. That's mine. Ooh, wee, it's hot. Sweating all over the place. Thanks, brother. I don't know if putting up this, I think it was actually, any time you can see sunshine, it's like intensifies the humidity out here. So it was a good idea. Thank you for the warning from Tarpon Springs that it's potential rain. I needed to know. Okay. It includes a lock. I can feel it and tell that it would be worthwhile, like as a deterrent, and it will lock. Right? I imagine that no problem with that, but very flimsy. Likely one of those with the hard strike could break, but it's going to be a deterrent for sure. And then it actually has this mount, which I like because it straps to one of the bars on your bike or the post, and you can actually loop it in with this little connector right here, and it just holds. I actually have one just like this on my Jetson Hayes, which is the bike that I keep in my car all the time when it's not a electric XP Lite. We're probably not going to put the stickers on. They are a legal requirement, as I know for others, so you guys check your local e-bike laws, etc. Remember, when you get your pedals, they are labeled right side, left side. One is reverse threaded, so it's lefty tighty, righty loosey. Right side, drive side. alley now. Good. Get in here first. I want to have a look at this thing. See if I can do it without taking the crank off. One more. So, what I'm after here is to show you guys. So I think, yeah, there we go. 22 amps. It's a 48 volt controller, 40.5 plus or minus 1 volts at low voltage cutoff. Now, the whole point of me showing you this is to see if there was actual spec difference in what's going on with the alt controller that they sent me. And the answer is no, which means that they unlocked the controller. Oh, whoops. Which means that they unlocked this controller that they sell. I think it's 50 bucks on their website, and it unlocks the speed right up my alley. Is there more stuff? Oh, no, it's the reflection of the sun. So I know it looks like it, but it's what you're seeing here in terms of white is a reflection off the white shell on the ground. Go ahead and shove this back in here. I don't need any more of that. The connection, everything's the same. So it's guaranteed that they just redid the programming, which we like. We're all about it. We don't need, it doesn't need to go whammy jammy. We don't need to blow out the BMS or overheat the motor with a ton of amps. But don't limit my, at least give me the control to turn it off, right? The mile per hour ratings for legal class limits are what they are, and you can either go that speed limit or not. If you choose to go above it, you're breaking the law. I know that there are things out there when they're regulated, that's the way it is, but it takes a responsible person to know when they're risking themselves versus risking others, and that's the deal. Like, we got freaking Nissans faster than hell, Lamborghini, Ferrari, all that stuff, you know, and we live in a society where the dominant highway speed is 70. So you're going to tell me that we're going to ban the car or make it to where we can't do anything to the car to make it perform better is just absurd. That's my opinion. I do understand the laws, and in the States, we're very lucky to be experiencing this time. In Europe, man, they got some really restrictive stuff. And they will take your vehicle, your PEV or whatever you got, and smash it. Like, no F's given. But they're also a lot healthier. Culture and the infrastructure is more set for it. If none of you have ever been to Holland, Amsterdam perhaps, you would lose your mind with the bicycle infrastructure. However, they don't tolerate things like super fast e-bikes in the e-bike categories. Let's see where we at. Okay, derailleur guard. I've got mixed feelings on this not being installed, right? I feel like it should be there in the packaging on the bike, ready to rock. It doesn't increase the profile that much more, and I know the side was there, so anything to protect that derailleur. You just don't want a hanger bent or any of that stuff. It sucks. This is proving to be quite the adventure. They're all very tight. Man. I guess I prefer those. I don't want to come in loose. You able to do it? Still more. There we go. Just like, we'll just go ahead and grab whatever one's on the shelf. So the divot here serves absolutely no purpose, even when turned. Great. Whatever, it works. Okay, now what? No way. All right. Yeah, look at that. So this is a straight setup. I think I could probably roll it back, but the whole protection of the body isn't there. I don't know about all that. Can't do that. Hmm. All right, that should do it. Okay, what was my real purpose? I think it was checking the gears. When you do this, the barrel here, if it's wanting to skip in the wrong direction or go further up the cassette or freewheel, this one's pretty much dialed in already. So let's see, third is skipping. So I'm going to roll the barrel in towards the wheel over the top. So it's coming over the top towards the wheel. There it goes. More. I'll give it one more little turn for good measure and call that a day. Pressure feels good. Inflate to 30 psi for these bad boys. It's front and back. Let's try and turn this thing on. What's this? So first, make sure you plug in your display. That is the number one go-to. My bike's not working scenario, which is not true. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and plug in the lights. And then I'm gonna cross my fingers that there's some juice in the battery. And there is. Oof, saw the flash there. I don't know what that is. That's good. Light work. That works. Rear light's on. Does it have a brake light? Yes, it does. It has a brake light. That's good. Nice accessory set. The settings, so plus and minus together. Use power to get through them. P settings, which a lot of people are used to. 29. P08, I believe, is the one. Oh man, it's coded. Oh, the King Bull code. I forgot. I think I have it on the other one, so let's see what it is. The King Bull code. I may have it on my iPad. Anybody know the King Bull code offhand? Light rider. Design frame, motor, power, battery range, motor control grips, has some throttle demo, suspension. Anyway, there's a code. I've had it. I don't remember it offhand. I think it's something weird and wonky, but I think it works. Let's just check to see if we get power to the wheel. I think we're about there. Pedal assist 1. That is good. Let's hear it wind up. Yeah, so it was that setting. P08 is the setting for speed. This is locked in at 20. Let's see about pedal assist. That's torque, and I can't go any faster than that. I think it's locked in at 20. I could feel it just give out completely. Zoom brakes, hydraulics, those feel good. There's no squeaking. All right, once again, this thing came fully, it was aligned really well. Where am I at with this bike in terms of unboxing? I am happy, I am pleased. I'm looking at the rack mounts. Like, I understand where other industry comparisons might be made. I made them myself, and I'm saying that that does concern me, but it's been a standard for a long time and it is working, so I'm not going to worry about it too terribly much. I understand the price point as well. This derailleur, no. Like, this needs to be better. Me having to bend this like that is not worthwhile. If you're rolling it out, that means that the derailleur is going to come out. Once it loosens up, it's going to come down and out, so the body will be out. If I have to roll this over to make it fit, it's not protecting the derailleur, so they need to do better with that bad boy. For review, I'll have to get the code. Keys are up on the dash. And then I'll do my final alignment on the headset when I get on the bike, but that is not for this. We know the controller's in there, so I don't have to remove any of this. Like, this is the setup. There's also the electric port here with a cap cover, which means that the battery can be charged external. All of the good stuff. Downside of these is, unless plate removal for the battery, you got to get the cover to match if it gets ruined. I mean, first world problems for sure. I do like the setup on the handlebars. I think that that's going to be a positive thing. Turn signals is one of the only other add-ons I would see here. With the settings here unleashed to let this happen with the controller that I showed you, I imagine plus 30. I'm pretty sure. But that will be 2 videos down the line. Let's see if you guys are still here. We'll go ahead and sign this bad off. Didn't we? I think we had the same problem last time, didn't we? Like, it was the light rider. Is it the same one? Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, BA, select, start. That's it, right? That's the code. Give me my Nintendo. I got some track and field I need to cheat on, and then Contra, and then Mario Brothers. Okay. Still though, for any rider, if you're considering this bike, I mean, this is worth some change for me for sure. The value is great. Having it, being able to roll it up, and just tuck it in the bag or something, that's where it's at. These are crucial. They're all fit for the bike. It's good stuff. This is the only color for this bike, space gray. So if you like space gray, this bike is for you. $12.99. I think $14.99 for the XP2. This one does have a torque sensor. I'm sure a lot of the settings inside the display are restricted, so there's that. But it's got all the stuff. Save you some cash if it measures up, and if it does, then that means you can accessorize in the same way you'd want to with others. Also, dual battery, of course, right? We would look for that. Definitely know it has XT60s, so no problems there. I'm excited to ride it. We'll see how this front fork fares. Everything else looks like it's all tightened up well enough. And I'm going to take off this sweaty shirt and be Florida man for a little bit while I clean up and come back to, If you're here and you're a fan and you know the brands that we work with, we do have a replacement throttle for the XP4 coming. We're going to try and get it on the right hand side. That's exciting. So if you stuck around with us, now you know. This is the King Bull Discover 2 22 amp current limit on the controller for a 750 watt rear hub, 26x4 fat tire, 48 volt, 15 amp hour integrated battery. I'll give you some Micatol constant range calculations. Definitely going to put a suspension seat post on this. Absolutely necessary. The fat tires do compensate some, but there's nothing compared to a bike case suspension seat post. This is a 30.4 diameter seat post. So we'll be putting the 30.4 millimeter diameter shim with 27.2 millimeter bike case suspension seat post. I'm going to wear down these CSTs, right? I'm not going to replace them with Allscapes. I like these. The look is good. Has a very racy, like I'm getting ready to go fast, and we do like this. And also, I'm looking at these rotors, and they look to be a little bit thicker than normal, so I do like that too. And I think a lot of companies are coming into that. This reminds me a lot of a Hemingway frame. Hemingway Zebra. So there's a Zebra in the Cobra class, that whole setup where they had the mid-drive, so the frame's styling where it would just be cut out and you could put in that Bafang M series mid-drive. But okay, I look forward to this review. This looks pretty solid. I'm not a fan of torque sensors. Everybody knows that, so they do it anyway. I don't shy away from it. We'll get the settings for the code. I'll probably do that off camera just so I know, and open this thing wide up, let it go, or we'll do the full settings review within the review video, which does serve a purpose for those that need to know. Appreciate you guys sticking around. I will set up some links for this bike in the description below after we're done publishing the live video. Appreciate you guys watching. Damon, I hope you and the family are doing well. Gordon, you know, like, have some faith in people that want to make it in business in the United States. Let them come through. Don't blame them for logistics. It's not fair. You guys don't get into the hype of the electrified Latina if you look at the products and how those reviews are going, where it went in terms of the classifications and the stuff she's saying in the video. She's all over the place, and she's really isolating herself from the crew, right? We are all in the same boat, and it's as if she's trying to just jump out and then torch it. It don't make any sense. That being said, probably said too much. We'll talk to you next time. Y'all have a good afternoon. Look out for the next battery videos we've got coming out, XP4 reviews, all the good stuff. Take it easy.